Hello and welcome. Welcome to our cluster advising orientation session for the social sciences. My name is Annalise Loffer. I'm one of the assistant directors at First Year Advising, and we're really excited to have you today to go over what to expect in cluster advising as you prepare for this transition. If you haven't already, please let us know that you're here by checking in via the QR code or clicking the link that's been provided in the Zoom chat. We also encourage you to update your Zoom name so that it reflects your first name, your last name, and ideally your major. When you are filling out the check-in form, make sure to check in that you are here for the social sciences cluster advising orientation. And then as a quick reminder, this session is being recorded. And so we do recommend that at least during the main session that you go ahead and keep your camera off and keep yourself muted so you don't actually end up in that recording. So what we're going to cover today, first, in this main session, we'll talk about what to expect in terms of the transition from first year advising to cluster advising. We'll find out what to expect from cluster advising. What kind of support will you get from your cluster advisors? How will you communicate with them, etc. And then we'll also have a panel where you can learn some insights from some of our experienced cluster advisors. We'll then shift for the second half of this meeting into breakout rooms where you'll have the opportunity to meet your cluster advising case team and actually get to know the advisors who will be supporting you next year. You'll also get a little bit more information about your major, so curricular highlights, helpful resources, and opportunities that are critical for you as a sophomore. You'll get a chance to get any questions you have answered by your new cluster advisors, and we'll make sure that you know some next steps to prepare for sophomore year. Before we do that, though, we wanted to just do a fun little introduction activity. So we know that this is an exciting and sometimes a little nerve-wracking time of year. So we wanted to just know, how are you feeling as you close out freshman year and prepare for sophomore year? So feel free to give us a little emoji in the Zoom chat. You can go to the react button and then you can pick a little emoji. All right, I'm seeing some excitement. Feeling ready, feeling a little kind of wowed, maybe overwhelmed, a little sad, shocked. Yep. So all the types of feelings that you might be feeling as you kind of digest the fact that your first year is already coming to its close and reflect on all the wins and challenges. And then also some excitement for maybe the summer, excitement for the transition and for getting to kind of dive deeper into your major as well. So thank you so much, everybody, for kind of humoring us with that and for letting us know how you're feeling. So for the past year, you have been supported by First Year Advising. You've had an assigned advisor in our First Year Advising office who has been your go-to for any advising related questions. But our continuing students, sophomore year through graduation, are supported through cluster advising. And that looks a little bit different than what it did in the first year. So today we're going to really go through what to expect and what differences you might see next year through graduation, compared to what you've had for this past year. A little bit about that experience and what's coming up. So the transition experience is what we call that transition from first year advising to cluster advising. And it actually already started. It started with your pre-registration advising appointment that you had in February, March, or April with your first year advisor. This is when we talked about kind of your goals, caught up on how this year has been going, and helped you make your fall plan in terms of what courses you should be registering for. Next up is this event right now, your cluster advising orientation, which is going to really go over what to expect in cluster advising and help you kind of also discover some sophomore year opportunities. We also have our One Dornsife Fest event, which is actually tomorrow from 3:30 to 5:30 in McCarthy Quad. And this is your opportunity to meet those new cluster advisors in person, ask them specific questions you might have related to yourself. Connect with USC and Dornsife resources, hang out with other freshman students, transfer students, faculty, alumni. And then finally, we have what is called our fond farewell and welcome. This is the official final step in your transition process. This will be happening around the end of that first week, start of second week in May. And this is when you officially transition from first year advising to cluster advising. You'll get a final email from your first year advisors and an announcement in Advise USC, kind of, thanking you for a great year and wishing you the best. And then you will get a warm welcome from your cluster advising team. And at that point, it will officially mark the transition. And going forward, if you have any advising related questions, you will work with your cluster advising team rather than your first year advisor. So like I said, again, we really hope to see you at our One Door Insight Fest tomorrow. This is an opportunity to connect with lots of different folks from other students, your cluster advisors, campus partners, faculty, alumni, transfer students, and more. We have in and out. We do Door Insight Advising swag. You have a chance to win some cool raffle prizes. We normally have hundreds of students come out each year. So we really hope to see you there, and you can RSVP by either using the QR code on the screen in the Engage SC app or by using the link in the chat. With that, I'm going to pass it off to the cluster lead for social sciences, Miss Dolly Conferito, who will introduce herself and go over a little bit about what to expect.
Thanks so much, Annalise. I am Dala Confredo, the lead for the Social Sciences Cluster. And for Dornsife students in their second college year and beyond, academic advising is organized into specific focus areas within each major cluster. And each focus area has a team of dedicated academic advisors. This empowers us to deliver consistent support, shared expertise, and flexible advising access from sophomore year all the way through to graduation. The social sciences cluster has two focus area case teams. The first is POIR and spatial sciences, with POIR standing for political science and international relations. And the second is economics and sociology. On this screen is a list of each focus area and its majors. The POIR spatial sciences area includes majors in intelligence and cyber operations, international relations, global business, international relations and the global economy, and political science. It also includes Spatial Sciences Institute majors in geodesign, global geodesign, and human security and geospatial intelligence. The economics sociology area includes economics department majors in behavioral economics and psychology, economics and data science, economics, mathematics, political economy, and social sciences with an emphasis in economics. It also includes sociology department majors in health and human sciences, non-governmental organizations and social change, and sociology. And as cluster lead, I'll be directly supporting students who are undeclared in the social sciences. A handout detailing these focus areas and their programs is available to download in the Zoom chat. Now that we know more about cluster advising focus areas, let's take a closer look at how cluster advising differs from first-year advising. In first-year advising, one advisor advises for all Dornsife majors and minors. In cluster advising, an entire case team of academic advisors is available to support you in the majors and minors of your focus area. In first-year advising, advisors specialize in curriculum, exploration, and opportunities specific to the first college year. In cluster advising, your case team specializes in major-specific curriculum and opportunities available to sophomores, juniors, and seniors. In first-year advising, students have the same advisor, even if majors change to a different Dornsife program. In cluster advising, the advising case team will change when changing to a major in a different focus area. And those with majors and/or minors in multiple focus areas will be supported by multiple advising case teams. This means that in cluster advising, you'll always have an entire team of experts in your corner. These experts can help you further your understanding of major course options and policies, develop a personalized multi-year academic plan, add additional programs like majors, minors, and progressive degrees, connect with faculty and research in your major, explore opportunities beyond our University Park campus like study abroad and faculty-led offerings, engage with career preparation, utilize key resources for your academic, wellness, and personal goals, and help track your progress toward that important graduation finish line. After completion of your first year, you'll be able to see who your cluster advisors are by visiting Advise USC and scrolling down to your My Success Team list. Remember that you may have a variety of advisors if you have multiple programs, but descriptions will be on display for each success team member. Just read those descriptions to find your cluster advisor. One way to connect with a cluster advisor is by Advise USC support case. If you need information by a specific deadline, open a support case in advance, because opening multiple cases with multiple team members will slow response time. Only open one support case with one cluster advisor and allow up to 5 business days for a reply. Business days are Monday through Friday, excluding weekends and holidays. To open a support case with a member of your cluster team, navigate to Advise USC's Advisor Connect tab and click on the button Create a new Advise USC case. Then select Get Support from my current advisor. Next, specify the topic and subtopic of your query. Then select the member of your cluster advising team with whom you wish to connect. This particular list will not identify the case team to which an advisor belongs. So please reference the My Success Team section of Advise USC that we previously discussed. As a reminder, open one support case with one single cluster advisor. Opening multiple cases with multiple advisors requires those advisors to consult each other before responding, which can delay an advisor's response to you. Another way to connect with cluster advisors is by appointment. You can schedule that appointment with any member of your focus area case team through Advise USC's Advisor Connect tab. You can choose to meet with the same cluster advisor for the remainder of your Dorrance Life journey, or you can meet with any advisor whose availability best matches yours. Advisors will have access to the same information, including previous notes and course plans. So each team member is ready to support you. Depending on the number of degree units you have earned, you may have a mandatory advising restriction that requires you to consult a cluster advisor before registering for the next term. This restriction or hold will display in web registration. If this hold is present, schedule and complete a mandatory advising appointment with any member of your focus area case team in advance of your registration permit date. This ensures that you'll have an accurate course plan for the next semesters in your academic journey. Alrighty, back to you, Annalise. Oh, and we have one more slide. Never mind. One reminder again is to connect with us by checking Advise USC, and we actually will be posting reminders about various upcoming opportunities and deadlines to keep in mind in the recent announcements section of Advise USC. So make sure to always check that when you log in.
Great. Thank you so much, Dolly. And apologies there. I thought that I was unmuted. So my bad there. All right. So I wanted to actually invite not only Dolly back, but also some of our senior academic advisors who are going to help do a little Q&A session, a little panel with us. So right now, I'd like to invite any of you all who have questions. Keep these more general. We'll have opportunities to talk more specific questions about, say, your major or minor related questions in just a little bit when we go into breakout rooms. But if you have any general questions about cluster advising, I encourage you now to put them in the chat, either in the group chat or you can direct message me, and we'll just go ahead and get some our experienced advisors' insights. So I actually do have a question. Um, this is if I have a question about my major, is it really okay to meet with different people each time? Or am I going to have to re-explain everything that I've talked about before every time I meet with someone new?
Alrighty, I can take this one. So I think, as we mentioned a little bit briefly, that advisors on your case team will have access to all the advising notes, stars reports, previous course plans that were created in Advise USC. So any member of your case team is ready to assist you with any questions that you might have. So you won't have to go into a deep recap of every single appointment that you've had in the past. We'll all have that information available to assist you.
Great. And then another question that we got, um, if a student is interested in participating in something like overseas studies, when should they start planning for that with a cluster advisor?
Hello, I can take that question. Okay, then. So, oh, sorry, Leo, where you going? Leon, sorry. Okay, so if you're planning on studying abroad, once you meet with any of us, we can actually start planning it now. And the reason for that is because some of your upper division major requirements there are certain requirements that can only be taken abroad, so we want to make sure that we place those during the semester that you're planning on studying abroad, and so that you don't take those courses prior to that. Otherwise, it might make your scheduling a little bit more complicated. So to recap, just let us know as soon as you meet with us, and then we'll get that sorted out for you in your course plan.
Do you have any advice for students who are looking to get more involved or connected with like their academic departments?
So we will be covering a few resources for students when we review each major requirements or at the orientation slides for each cluster. So we can go over that during that time. But when you meet with us, you can let us know what you're interested in, and we can let you know the resources that we have in for each department. And the great thing about Advice USC is also that we can place referrals within Dornsife. So if you have any questions, we can refer you, for example, to Dornsife Career Pathways, to overseas studies. And we also know the best tricks for getting in contact with others. So just feel free to reach out either by booking an appointment or opening a support case, and we'll get you sorted out with that information.
Right. This is feel free for multiple of you to answer this one, but is there any like resource or office on campus that you think is especially important for students to connect with as they start their sophomore year or to know about?
I think one of the most important offices is a faculty member's office, right? So as you take courses in your major, especially as you get into those sophomore level, junior level, really major key core courses, get to know your faculty. Your faculty will know alumni, for example, and how they have carved their professional path after graduating from USC. They'll know possibly some internship opportunities or maybe upper division electives that might support your specific professional and academic interests. So use those office hours. They're there for a reason. They are paid to sit in their offices and wait for you to ask them questions. But an additional office to consider too, as you start to broaden your dive into your major, are career-centered resources. So that could be the USC Career Center as well as Dorsey's Career Pathways office. Those people are very knowledgeable in different ways to support you as you prepare for the world of work outside of USC. But even for websites are really wonderful treasure troves of important information, giving examples for again, pathways after graduation, ideas for how to apply your major, and even things like what are some key career highlights that I should try and strive for in sophomore, junior, or senior year.
Does anyone else want to add anything? Any other offices or resources that you think are particularly useful?
So another thing is, I think you all should all know where your advisors' offices are. So we'll let you know exactly where you are located, as well as department offices for your major as well.
All right. So it looks like that's our questions. Again, if you have any other questions, we're going to have an opportunity to ask them once we get into our breakout room, specifically with your cluster advising team. So I'll go ahead and change this. One second. There we go. All right. So with that, we're going to go ahead and jump into breakout rooms in just a few seconds. Rooms will be opening shortly. Breakout room one will be for POIR and then spatial sciences. And breakout room two for economics and sociology. If you don't remember which area your major falls under, feel free to stay back for a couple of seconds in this session, and I will help get you to the right place. If you happen to be joining us from one of the undeclared social science majors, then we recommend just going to whichever breakout room you're most interested in learning about today, because again, you'll be working specifically with our cluster lead, Dolly, until you officially declare a major. So we'll go ahead and open the breakout rooms, and feel free to use the breakout room button at the bottom of your Zoom screen to move yourself. If you're having any issues moving yourself, please let me know, or you are unsure where to move to, and I will go ahead and help.
Hello, everyone. My name is Jessica. I'm one of the first year advisors in the office. Welcome to the Econ and Sociology case team under the Social Sciences cluster. In the next slide, if you could please check in if you haven't done so earlier. You can either scan the QR code to let us know you're here. You do not need to sign in again if you've already done this in the main session, but if you haven't, it would really help us if you could scan the QR code, and then also to rename yourself so that with your major, that way, we understand who is in the room with us so that we can answer your questions properly. And then I'm going to pass it over and introduce our cluster advising case team.
Hi, everyone. Congratulations on reaching the finish line of your freshman year. My name is Leon. I am one of the advisors on the economics and sociology case team. Our team includes multiple advisors, including Carla, Jenna, Stephanie, Paola, and Miranda. And we look forward to welcoming you to your sophomore year. We are located in Suite 357 on the third floor of Caprillion Hall, which is known as CAP. And beginning this summer, we can be reached via in-person appointments here in CAP, online Zoom appointments, and Advise USC support cases. And we look forward to meeting with you all. All right. So these are different ways that you can connect with us. So you can connect with us through the Advisor Connect tab in Advise USC. You can scroll down to My Success Team, and you want to find advisors that are labeled Economics, Sociology, Health and Human Sciences, and NGOs. Anytime that you do need help, you can choose any one member of your advising team and schedule an appointment with them or create a support case. For mandatory advising, you want to make sure that you are selecting undergraduate advice and mandatory advising as your topics. And for any other appointments, you just select any topic that fits your needs. For support cases, when you create those in Advise USC, you want to allow up to 5 business days for a response. And when replying to that case, you want to make sure that you do put the @ symbol and then follow that with your advisor's name. That's very important because that makes sure that we are alerted when you do create a response to your support case. Also, another way that we'll reach out to you is we may open support cases inviting you to respond. So you want to, and then you also want to check your recent announcements on the Advise USC homepage for important reminders, upcoming opportunities, and also we will have Advising Notes tab where you can view your notes from your completed appointments, course plans, and more. So after your meetings, if you decide a couple of weeks later you want to go back and kind of get a refresh of what we went over, you can go into those advising notes tab and like look over the notes to kind of get a refresher of things that were discussed during that appointment. All right, so all of our team members, we are here to assist you. I know we did have a question about if you should work with one advisor or multiple. We're all here to assist you, so you can work with any advisor on the team. We do have lots of majors within economics and sociology. So the majors under the economics departments will be behavioral economics and psychology, economics BA, economics and data science, economics mathematics, political economy, social science with emphasis in economics, and then we have a couple of minors, behavioral economics as well as economics minor. We also do advise in the sociology department in the majors of health and human sciences, non-governmental organizations and social change, sociology, and then for this we have a couple of minors as well, forensics and criminality minor and the sociology minor. All right, so now that we are going into your sophomore year, there are some courses that you will take, and they will vary by major and different prerequisites that you have completed. For those who've already completed calculus and lower division microeconomics courses, you'll look forward to Econ 303, which is intermediate microeconomic theory, which is required for all of our majors. Additionally, econ majors usually take Econ 305, Econ 317, and Econ 318 during your sophomore year. For the behavioral economics and psychology majors, you can take Econ 317, which is followed by Psych 314. Econ math majors will continue calculus, so we'll go into higher level calculus, so calculus 2 and 3, and then we'll go into linear algebra as well. You may also complete Econ 305 and some of our computing courses, so TAC 115, 116, 165, and TAC 249. Now, with econ data science, students often work on their remaining math requirements as well, like the linear algebra course, and begin some of their computer science and DSCI courses. So you can take DSCI 250, TAC 115 or 116, and CSCI 102. For any of your majors with the class, we will identify if courses are spring only or fall only. So you want to make sure to pay close attention to your course plans as well with when you're registering for your courses. With the social science with emphasis in economics, you'll complete Econ 305 and begin your 300 or 400 level electives for economics, as well as the social science courses. And with political economy, if you have completed your lower division requirements, you can go ahead and start on the 300 and 400 level electives in economics, political science, international relations as well. And you would just want to remember with these that 3 of the courses must be taken at the 400 level. Also, some of your courses, they will require a grade of C or higher for some of those core classes for the majors in economics, economics and data science, econ math, social science with economics, and social science with emphasis in economics. So this will be identified with the asterisk here on the screen, and you can also see your STARS report, and it'll show that the courses they do require a grade of C or higher. Also, to help maximize your experience, consider utilizing one or more of the many resources that we do have available to you. This includes the Economics Tutoring Center, which does support learning in microeconomics, macro, statistics, and econometrics. You can join the Econ Association to help plan out and promote events. Different networking events that we do have, like Nights and Women in Economics, provide connections with alumni and prospective employers. You can get hands-on experience with one of our research centers as well. And many of our majors have opportunities for study outside of the University Park campus through study abroad, Maymasters, DC campus courses, and more. So we are looking forward to working with you all and helping you as you continue here and move into your second year.
Alrighty, hello everybody. I will be going over this slide to echo what everybody else has been saying. Welcome to Cluster Advising. My name is Miranda, and I'm one of your many new major advisors. This slide will cover some common courses for sophomore students who are studying any of the 3 majors offered by the sociology department. So starting with the Sociology BA, sophomore students will continue taking their core courses listed here on the screen. So that would be Soc 200, Introduction to Sociology, Soc 270, Sociological Theory, Soc 313, Sociological Research Methods, Soc 314, Analyzing Social Statistics, and either Soc 325 or SSCI 301, either or for that last requirement. For students majoring in non-governmental organizations and social change, common courses to take in your sophomore year are Soc 313 or Soc 314 for the core methods requirement. Students also commonly take their core theory requirement in their second year. So for that, you would either choose Soc 270, Philosophy 337, Philosophy 437, Political Science 380, or Sociology 445. Finally, for those of you majoring in health and human sciences, during your sophomore year, you'll begin to explore courses in whichever module that you choose to pursue. Those different modules are listed here on the screen as well for your reference. So health, gender, and ethnicity, health and the mind, international health, sociology of health, health and aging, and biology of health. If you're also a pre-health student, you'll continue taking courses that are pre-health requirements as well, and you'll be working with us, your major advisors, to identify which of your pre-health requirements also overlap with major requirements. We do also have some resources specific to the sociology department linked here at the bottom of the screen. So our weekly colloquium, which advertises different events and speakers for the department that the department hosts. And there's also faculty mentoring, study abroad, research, and honors. So feel free to connect with any of us if you have questions about any of these resources. And with that, I'll pass it off to Jessica.
Thank you so much for covering all of that. Hopefully, you all have learned a new thing about your department as you move into cluster advising or a new kind of opportunity that you're thinking of pursuing. So, I did want to kind of give you all some next steps of what's kind of coming. As Annalise kind of mentioned in the main session, we are having our big One Dornside Fest tomorrow between 3:30 to 5:30 in McCarthy Quad. If you haven't RSVP'd yet, I'm going to drop the link in the chat. You can come anytime between 3:30 to 5:30 to meet all of your amazing cluster advisors that you will be, meeting with about academics and whatever questions that you have next year. And then there's also going to be some in and out, Dornside swag. You'll also have an opportunity to connect with campus partners, faculty, alums, your fellow students, and all that. And then on May 4th, you're going to want to check your USC email for the first year advising newsletter, which is going to have some transition related reminders, links to the recording of today's session, and also other useful resources to prepare for your sophomore year. Now, as the semester comes to a close, look out for an email and also an Advise USC announcement from your first year advisor. They're going to say goodbye and give you a fond farewell. And then shortly after, you're going to get a really nice welcome email and Advise USC announcement from your new cluster advising case team. And that will be your cue to start working with your cluster advisor from that day until graduation. And then your transition experience will be complete. And I think that is the bulk of our presentation. Yes, next slide. Thank you. If you could all please help us fill out this really quick feedback. I think it only really takes a minute. The responses are anonymous. This is really just to help us improve the transition experience for future students. I'm going to leave this on the screen for a little bit. Before we kind of get to your questions, we are going to have another Q&A where I'm going to invite all the cluster advisors back. And then we can answer any of your specific questions about your major specifically, department specifically, whatever questions you have, we'll answer them. But I would really appreciate it if you scan the QR code and submit some feedback for us.